When people talk about first rock and roll song, Rocket 88 is talked about a lot. This one, 60 Minute Man by Billy Ward and his Dominoes. This is also talked about as a first rock and roll song. This is effing awesome.
60-minute man, 60-minute man.
Look here, girls, I'm telling you now, they call me love and dad. I'll rock 'em, roll 'em all night long. I'm a 60-minute.
All right, so this one is exactly the opposite of How High the Moon for me. I had not in two ways, but no, but
Okay.
in a more personal way, in that like I said earlier, I don't think I'd ever listened to How High the Moon for me. And I really was sort of like, I'm glad I was able to discover that in the research for this. But I have listened to this song countless times, and that is for me because
good.
the movie Bull Durham. The movie Bull Durham, there is an absolute classic scene at the end of the movie, and they use the lyrics, they use the salaciousness of this song, and it is absolutely the perfect fit of a song to a movie. And Bull Durham has always been one of my favorite movies. And I think like the first time seeing this movie, I went and tried to figure out what that song was, got this on, I'm pretty sure I had this on cassette tape. Then I've had a cassette CD, and I still stream it all the time. And it was all because of that use in that scene. And let's just say that probably the first time I saw the scene and with the song in the background, I didn't completely get all the references, but I knew it was a good song.
Man, this song is just awesome. And yeah, the references, like it's not just like trying to, it is sexual. It is about like, you can't hide from this thing, right? Let me tell you who this band is before we get carried away. Billy Ward and his Dominoes. Billy Ward is the pianist and songwriter. Bill Brown, Charlie White, Joe Lamont, and Clyde McPhatter. Clyde McPhatter was the leader of a vocal group called the Drifters. You know, bodum, bodum, doop, 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 I'm dreaming of a white. That's Clyde McPhatter's group, okay? So Billy Ward teams up with a talent agent named Rose Marks. They write the music for the group, and they come up with this song. It shoots to the top of the R&B charts because I mean, listen to this, darn! I mean, this is so
There'll be
good.
15 minutes of kissing. Then you holler, please don't stop. Don't stop. There'll be 50 minutes of teasing, and 50 minutes of squeezing, and 50 minutes of blowing my top.
I mean, like you said, there's not a lot of doubt what's going on in this song. This one, it's not trying to hide the ball. It starts out, it's called 60 Minute Man. I mean, we have this sort of thing where I feel like every year a song comes out and people talk about how controversial the lyrics are and how sexually explicit the lyrics are. We're talking about 1951, and this is the culmination of a tradition where, he is singing about, he calls himself Lovin' Dan, who is the backdoor man. He's swinging by to pick up your lady. And, there's not a lot of doubt about what's going on in any of these things. And, to your point, rock and roll may or may not have been just explicitly a euphemism for sex when it was coined. But, you know, 60 Minute Man, I don't think we need to really parse that one too much.
There'll be 15 minutes of kissing. Then you'll holler, please don't stop. And then the guys in the background are like, don't stop. By the way, this is Bill Brown doing the vocal, the bass vocal. The bass vocalist is doing that, which is a genius move because this guy's got that, like, he's laying it on. Man, it's great. It's great.
Loving Dan.
I'll rock 'em, roll 'em all night long. I'm a 60 minutes.
So there's that gospel influence here with the vocal, the background vocal. And when I mention gospel, I'm for the purposes of this podcast, I'm talking about black gospel music, which was the one that pointed the way to mainstream music more than any other kind of gospel, because there's Christian gospel, there's Southern gospel, but black gospel is the one that kind of becomes much more palatable for mainstream ears later on. And so you're getting that black gospel influence here. And a name to remember, composer Thomas Dorsey, he was the guy that kind of made black gospel much more mainstream palatable. So there's that influence, and like you'll hear it all throughout. Like it's like how Les Paul was influenced by jazz music and the work of black pianist Art Tatum. There's all these different influences that are informing the white artists and black artists from the 30s, 40s, and 50s to make this kind of music.
And to the point you made in the opening, I mean, everything that we're going to play in this episode. And I mean, really, everything we're going to play during an episode covering the next 70 years is firmly rooted in American roots music. And that means it comes directly from a Black American tradition. It comes from blues, it comes from jazz, it comes from gospel. February being Black History Month, one of my favorite bands, a small jug band out of San Francisco called the Grateful Dead, recently posted a playlist where, and it's, if you just have a little bit of time, it's great because it's only about 8 hours long. And what they do is they play a couple of their songs, and then they play the songs that influence those songs. Either sometimes they're strict covers, sometimes what the Dead were doing were adaptations, but they're all by Black American artists, and then they lead directly to Grateful Dead songs. And it's absolutely an incredible listen. Like I said, there's probably not a lot of people who are going to go spend 8 hours listening to it straight through 3 times like I may have done this week, but it is well worth checking out. And it is great because you can hear the direct influence, and in some cases, songs that were played 40, even 50 years after the originals.
Are you going to find ways every episode to get the Dead into what we're talking about?
I'm hoping I'll be able to work them in more than once per episode, but yes.
Okay. Then I'll just do Paul McCartney like or maybe I'll do Big Punisher. How about that?
See, that one might catch me off guard. The McCartney one, I mean, I'm not going to put up any fight on that, but still, yeah. All right, that's fair.
Okay, I'll try to get Big Pun in there.